Alright, so here's what the camp looks like. I figured I wouldn't bore you with me putting my little camp together, but there it is. We are currently at 7,700 feet. I'll have to double check. It's either 77 or 7570, but that's in feet. There is a burn ban going on, so you can see that I do have a Fulton Shepherd stove, which is perfectly legal as long as it has a spark arrestor on the top, which I do. And we'll get a close-up of that later because I made that by hand. And here we are up here, and as you can see as well, that the creek beds are dry. Now, we did recently get some rain, but obviously not enough to get the creek going. But might be a chance to do a little mudlarking. So there it is, all set up. I do have some bug repellent strips going. I do have my camp set out here that we tested last week. We're going to try that again this week out in the field. And that's about it for now. Heard a little bit of thunder about 2 minutes ago, and now it's starting to spit a little bit of rain. We'll see how it develops. Buzzed right over my head. I think that's whose nest that is in the tree. It's right next to my setup. See, we're up there, and it's right up in there. So I'll have to make some sugar water and see if I can get her. A bit of sugar and water, maybe I get that hummingbird to come back. Camping on a budget, $12, Walmart. It's called the Green Thumb bow saw. For a cheap bow saw, it's definitely, not as great as some of the high dollar ones that we all have. But we're going to give it a try since we're going with camping on a budget. Like I said, $12, can't beat it. Great on dry stuff, terrible on green stuff. But we'll go and give it a try. So, not a bad little saw. Did a great job. 12 bucks, can't beat it. Did bind up a couple of times, but like I said, works great on dead stuff. Really binds up on green stuff. So, good little saw to have. Alright, let's get the Fulton stove lit so we can start cooking dinner. And in honor of my good buddy Steve Wallace, Camping with Steve. Uh-oh. There we go. So Steve, this is for you. We'll let that go. Now I've got coffee ready to go. I've got water ready to boil, and in a moment, once I get this stove hot enough, I'm going to start browning up some ground beef. And in honor of East Anglican bushcrafting, I've got a really cheap, inexpensive meal that I'm going to cook for you tonight. And that starts off with a little mac and cheese, but it's actually cheddar and broccoli together. I don't know if you can see that. It costs $1 at the dollar store. And then we're going to brown up some ground beef. We're going to put that in there. We're going to have a perfect meal. Alright, so we're going to brown up this ground beef. And we're going to get some of our spices out from the Ozark Trail kit, and we'll go with a little Montreal steak because it has a little bit of everything. There we go. Maybe a few dehydrated onions. There we go. And I tell you, this little spice kit holder that comes with the Ozark Trail is really worth the entire kit, regardless of if the utensils suck. But we'll find out here shortly. And boy, I tell you, this Fulton stove is a joy to cook on, even though it's so tiny. You can really control the heat. You could even take the top off and put a grill on it. And we're going to grill some chicken this time out, so I'll show you. So far, the spatula's pretty good. I'm going to leave it in there and see what happens. Holding up to the heat. Oh boy, that smells good. Alright, and while we're browning this up, a couple more shout outs. First, I want to give a big shout out to Nigel Langford over at Northants Magnet Fishing. He was one of the original ones during lockdown that I reached out to and told him how great his videos were. So big shout out to Nigel. He's got a big event going on in England coming up soon. I'll be advertising it. Make sure you check it out. OutKast Radio and my wife SJ. She's awesome. She's also my editor. She encourages me to get out, move around. She's been my inspiration, my joy, my partner, my best friend. So big shout out to her and OutKast Radio, the OutKast Radio family. Glenn and Marie Collins from the Peaky Dippers. Great couple. Part of the OutKast family that we sponsor. Do amazing things. And then there's Steve Forrest over at Rusty Nutz Magnet Fishing. Is another one. Everything he does is for charity. Same thing with the Peaky Dippers. Mitchell Collins over at the Peaky Diggers. What an amazing young man. You need to watch some of his videos. Now, he slowed down his videos, but from what I understand, he's coming back. He's coming back with a vengeance. I think he's going to change the name of the Peaky Diggers, branch out on his own. So he's great. Justin Sylvester from It's Good in the Woods, big motivation, great guy. Check out his YouTube, amazing. This guy is just so calm, cool, and collected no matter what. And he's just done some amazing things. Check him out. East Anglican Bushcrafting, another amazing YouTube channel. Check him out. He's a veteran from the UK. Does a lot of things too out there about mental health and mental health awareness. So give him a big check out too. Throughout this video, I'll be giving shout outs to a lot of people that have been motivating to me. James Walters, In the Wild on Facebook. Another great site. Awesome photographer. He's just an amazing guy. From the Mind of G on YouTube and Facebook. George is a great guy. He used to be one of my soldiers in the Army. I was his sergeant. Been through a lot together. Suffer from some same issues. His writing and his poetry is just amazing, and it always seems to hit home with me. So check him out. Very inspirational. Alright, so I'm going to get this off. It looks nice and brown. We might let it cook just for a little bit longer to try to cook off some of that grease, and then we're going to try to drain it, and then we'll start the boiling. I don't want to put that down in there. You know what? We'll just set that right up in there. Alright, so we'll take that down, set that right in front of the stove. We'll get our water on to boil. Now, I don't have it rip-roaring because it's like 80 degrees out. But I do have a medium-high flame going in there, so it might take a minute for that water to boil. But with it being 80 degrees out, I really don't want it ripping right now. Tonight I know it's going to get cold, and with the burn ban in place, this is great because I can use it for heat as well. I use it in my big ice fishing cabin that's 10 people. And it's a great little stove to cook on. For heating, yeah, you might have to feed it every couple hours, but hey, you know, it's better than nothing, and it works great. Totally portable. Awesome stove. Another shout out to Two Girls in a Zoo. That's my wife and my daughter-in-law. They make cold processed soaps. Amazing watching them do this. They make all kinds of good stuff. They have an Etsy store. They're on Facebook. Two Girls in a Zoo. Just an amazing process how they make these soaps, and they do make a camping soap that's a body soap, a shampoo, and a conditioner all in one. They have unscented soaps for you hunters out there. They have all kinds of neat stuff. The prices are. Check out their page and their store, and check out their products. Once you try it once, it's amazing. They're a big hit in the UK with the OutKast family, the Magnet Fishers. They all have their own special lines of soap that are now collectible. They're still being made, but they're sought after big time in the UK. They only make them in certain runs, so you better check it out now, unless you have to wait for the next run to be made. Now the recipe calls for half a cup of milk. I'm going to use sweet condensed milk. To me, it makes things a little bit creamier. So we'll go ahead and we'll add that in there. Of course, I'm not going to add a half a cup like they asked for with milk. I do have some extra water in it. And we'll use the rest of some of the sweet milk from my coffee later. So it looks like the butter that I have in there is starting to melt. Water's starting to get hot. I probably got to add another log in there. We'll see what's going on. Oh no, it's going fine. So we're going to go ahead and let that boil, and we'll get right back with you. Alright, I think our water is already boiling. So let's see here. Oh yeah. Alright. So now I'm going to get a spoon out of our Ozark Trail kit. And we're going to go ahead and dump all that in. Give it a good stir. I think I might have a little too much liquid in here, but we'll let it cook for a little bit longer. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll let that cook. And we'll show you what it looks like in just a few moments. And of course, as luck would have it, the battery would die on the camera while I did all that. So let me show you where we're at. That is the final product. And of course you could sprinkle Parmesan cheese, maybe a little basil on there. But there you go, carbs and protein, right? All right, now this is an awful lot. I'm sure I'm not going to eat it all, but I'm going to go ahead and chow down. I'll let you know how that goes when I'm done. All right, so dinner was amazing. For a cheap, inexpensive meal, that wasn't even a half a pound of ground beef, so maybe $1 there, and then the $1 for the broccoli and cheddar mac and cheese. It was simply amazing. Lots of leftovers, of course. I'm not going to eat it, so you know, I've got to properly take care of it as to not attract any wildlife, especially bears. I do have my .45 with me. I do have the AR in the car, but I don't think we're going to have any problems with that. I think the biggest problem we're going to have here is the chipmunks. They're all over the place. I did give them some peanuts, so hopefully we'll make friends. The cows come around every now and then, but they're on the perimeter. So, you know, they're keeping me safe by keeping me alert as to what's going on out there. As far as the Ozark Trail kit, so far so good. Now, I did do a little bit of an experiment. And I took the frying pan and I put the frying pan back on top of the stove. With this setting in it, and I let it sit there for a good 15 or 20 minutes just to see, and I just got a little bit of scoring on that backside, so it does take a lot of abuse before these will start melting. Now, of course, with hot grease and bacon, I wouldn't be too careful, but we're going to try that out with the tongs. But everything else, the spoon, the fork, they held up very nice. They're very durable. They actually felt very comfortable eating off them. So that's a plus there. So there's that. But still, it's an amazing kit. I mean, you can always replace what you don't like or what's flimsy with a smaller stainless steel setup. You know, I know you can get a short stainless steel knife, fork, and spoon set for under $3. So if you're still, you know, in the realm of on a budget, you know, this is an excellent kit, and you can definitely add to it. the spice rack alone, just to be able to put that many spices in that many different containers is just simply amazing. So it's a good kit there.
I think he's casing the place to see what he can steal. I better give him an offering.
Alright, so dinner was simply amazing. I am stuffed. For $1 store meal and maybe a half a pound of ground beef, another $1, you've got an amazing meal. That would have fed 4 people easily. Full of carbs and protein. If you're active and need that, hey, that's great, but you got to watch out for the fats from the cheeses and all of that. You got a veggie in there too, but not much. But for on a budget meal, hey, there you go. And it didn't take but maybe 15, 20 minutes to get it all together. So, hey. The Ozark Trail utensil set was great. I did take the spatula and set it back in the skillet and set the skillet back on the stove and let it sit there for a good 20 minutes, I would say. And it just barely started to bubble on the back. So, pretty durable. Of course, with hot grease and bacon and things like that, I'm not too sure about, but we'll see. I've got the tongs. We're going to use them, and we're going to fry up some bacon either tomorrow morning or the morning after, and we'll go from there. But on the whole, I mean, it's a great setup. Just the spice rack alone is worth the money for the whole kit. You can always add, your stainless steel if you're not happy with it, or wood, or some people are into bamboo. The bamboo spatulas are great. They're just really hard to clean in the field because the wood is so porous. But you can always add stainless steel. A stainless steel knife, fork, and spoon set you can get for under $3 at most of your sporting good outlets. If you look, or online, you can find little shorties. They're fine. Utensils, the same thing. But for the money, I mean, it's an excellent kit on a budget. Hey, I would not pass it up. And with that, we're going to go ahead and make some coffee and enjoy a nice cup of coffee as the sun goes down. So we'll talk to you in a few minutes. Well, it looks like I have some company. Hi, ladies. It's like they're all around me, but they won't get too close. And they're just checking me out. But that's good that they're in the area. As long as they don't poop. I spent an hour cleaning up poop. So don't leave me any presents. She's hiding behind the trees. That's funny. Let me see if I can get closer. What you doing back there, Mama? Huh? What you doing? So it looks like I have a girlfriend. She's been in the area since I got here, and she's basically been walking around the perimeter. Now she's in just getting a drink out of the last bit of water that's in the creek. But there's a lot of cattle up here grazing at altitude. Later on, towards the end of the summer, they'll start bringing them down to a lower altitude. I guess that's the night patrol getting ready to go out.
Yeah, I'd have an attitude as well. No water. But hey, at least you're keeping me safe, right? And there's your buddy. Go on. No, you can't come and hang out with me. Sorry. Go on patrol. Keep them chipmunks away from my camp. You know they're going to steal my coffee and my sugar. Those are jalapeno cashews. That's why he's rubbing his face in the dirt. There's one out there on top of that big rock on the other side of the riverbed. He's been probing the perimeter for about 30 minutes now. So I'm sure he wants those peanuts. We'll see if we get a breach. I think he's casing the place to see what he can steal. Pretty rough out there. There's a hidden meadow way back in there. Maybe tomorrow we'll go that way. Yeah, did you see that? That was company too. I immediately got in the car. All right, everybody, we're back. I took a nice little pot bath, washed up, changed my clothes and my socks, get a little bit more comfortable for bed. I don't like going to bed dirty. So just boiling up a pot of water and some soap and a washcloth and all that just feels great, especially when you put on clean clothes and now you can sit back and relax. So it's almost dark. Right now I got some shorts on, but I do have some sweats because I know it's going to get very cold tonight. We might even get a little rain shower, so we'll see what happens there. And now it's time to sit back and, as Steve Wallace says, have a step two. So I am going to have a Stella Artois and enjoy that as the sun goes down, because I already had my coffee, and now it's time to relax. So with that, good night, everybody. We'll see you in the morning. All right, well, it's currently 52 degrees outside, which is a drastic change from 96. Under here, it's 64, which is pretty comfortable. I'm going to get breakfast ready, and I got to put some pants on because it's that cold. I figured you can use this as filler, SJ. All right, so I put a little piece of stick in there. Now we've got a decent pair of tongs. So we'll get to cooking here in a minute. Still waiting for the coffee to finish perking, and we'll have some breakfast. All right, let's get cooking. Now, I did find an MRE sausage patty in my kit, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cook that up and have that as a meat to go with the eggs. Let me get that wrapper off there. There we go. Now, it doesn't look very appetizing like this, but it's actually very good once it gets cooked. salt and pepper on the eggs. Tell you, I love this little spice kit. I like a lot of pepper. I like a big pepper. And for those of you shopping or camping on a budget, I found the best place to get good pots, little pots, skillets, all of that. Goodwill, thrift store. They're usually very, very inexpensive, and you get some really good ones. This one is an excellent one. I don't know who makes it, but it's great. It cleans up well. So I really, really enjoy this skillet. I do have cast iron. I like cast iron, but in the field, cast iron requires a lot of maintenance. You can't just wash them and leave them wet. You know, you've got to re-season them and all of that. Oops, got a little burnt there, but that's from the maple that's in the sausage. Great little spatula. And we'll get to try out our unserrated or slightly serrated butter knife out of the Ozark Trail kit. And we'll definitely see how that works on this piece of sausage. Now I also have a cornbread muffin top that I'm going to heat up and have with some syrup, almost like a Johnny cake. But there you have it. And boy, that maple sausage smells really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and chow down on that. And then when I heat up the muffin, we'll go ahead and show you that as well. So I'm going to eat. Put the coffee heat up. Alright, so I went ahead and passed up the cornbread maple muffin top, whatever. It's just a big pancake. They give you a package of syrup too, but I'm too full from breakfast. The serrated Ozark Trail knife actually did very well on it, even though it really wasn't needed because it was so soft. I wouldn't try to cut a piece of steak with it, but you know, to cut up a soft piece of chicken or a sausage patty like that, it would do great. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and relax for a few minutes. I'm going to straighten up camp, put my boots on, and then we'll do some improvement of the camp. Alright, so we cleaned up a little bit. One of the biggest things that we should know about camping or in a survival situation is every day you try to improve
your living conditions. Either, set up another tarp or get your wood organized or make a washing point or bury your trash, things like that. So what I did was I went ahead and I put another tarp up. Reason being is we're basically, I would say south, we're facing southwest. So at certain parts of the day, we will get sunlight even underneath the rain fly over the hammock. So I put up the other tarp, so at least I'll have another shaded area. I could even stretch out. I put a moving blanket on the ground. If I wanted to lay on the ground and stretch out, I can. And that's about it for improvement. I think what I'm going to do is maybe get some rocks over by where the water dispenser is and just have like a little drainage area. But other than that, I think we're looking good. Trash is getting full, so I might want to tie that off, put it in the car, and get another bag out. That way it'll keep the bears to a minimum, wanting to get some kind of dessert. I might want to rethink the hammock. If the bears do continue to come around, I do not want to be a bear burrito. Last night I slept fairly well. I rattled some pots every now and then. I do know they came back, but they were in the outer perimeter. I was really quiet when they came up the first time, so, I think if I just make a little bit more noise, they'll stay away. But as skinny as that one adolescent looked, you can tell that he's probably getting desperate for food, so we'll be vigilant about that, and we'll decide whether or not we want to switch and put out a ground bivvy and sleep on the ground, or sleep in the hammock, or even possibly sleep in the car if we need to. But I don't think it's that bad. Like I said, right now they're more afraid of us than I am of them. So, I know many ways to help deter them. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's cook some chicken. Now, first things first, one of the greatest things about these stoves is that you can cook on them. And we'll let that cook down a little bit. In the meantime, let's season up our chicken. And we're going to try out some McCormick's bourbon and brown sugar. Get that on there. Rub it in real good. Let that burn down here for just a sec. Well, while that's going on, step 2 for Steve Wallace fans, and East Anglican Bushcraft. There you go. It's my one and only. For the day. Cheers. Oh, that's good. Flame is just a little too high, so I'm just going to let it cool down, let the flames drop. I don't want to get that sooty taste in chicken. But in the meantime, we're going to go take a break, let this cook down a little bit, and then we'll get the chicken going. Alright, we finally got the flames to die down a little bit. Had a half a beer already, and now we've got the chicken on, and we're going to grill up some chicken, probably make some rice to go along with it, and we'll see how this new seasoning works out. Oh yeah, look at that. Definitely doesn't smell like bourbon and brown sugar, though. No. We got her a little too well on that one side. That's what happens when you rush things. I shouldn't have put that piece of wood in there. But I'm hungry. Alright. Just about done. Alright. Now I'm going to take this off. Oh yeah. Now you I'll put back over here in just a sec. Let me get you off. And where did my screws go? Oh, there they are. Put this lid back on so we can make some rice to go along with it. There we go. All right, now because this is underneath the vents on the side, this actually becomes a hot plate. So I'm going to put this one right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and make some rice, and then I'll show you what it all looks like when we're done. And I'll make this. I didn't get to be this old on sheer luck. I don't know if you got to see that, but the bear came back. I heard you coming, you dummy. He wasn't so pleasant to get to go. So he doesn't come back this way. All right, 2.5 encounters, that's going to be enough, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pack it in and head on out of here. Obviously, we're getting a little too big for our britches, and we're pressing our luck here. So I'm going to go ahead and pack up the camp. I'll leave them the chicken. That's the young cub, I think. Holy shit. It doesn't get more extreme than that. I almost became a bear burrito.